Hello everyone, my name is Erica Panici. I'm a student physical therapist assistant, and today I'm going to be talking about my journal review on the use of pre-participation physical exam and screening for the female athlete triad among high school athletes. The female athlete triad, named by the American College of Sports Medicine, is a combination of three different pathologies: disordered eating, amenorrhea, and osteoporosis. Each pathology is a concern, but when it is with the triad, can have serious consequences. It also has short and long-term health problems. It's a growing concern for girls in athletics. It is often denied and not recognized and goes unreported. Few high school and college athletic programs don't have proper education or proper etiquette about the triad. It is recommended to screen for the triad during pre-participation physical exams to complete athletics. So the first part of the triad, disordered eating, it's the main part of the triad. It affects 15 to 62% of female athletes compared to the 8% in the general population. There's different types, each limiting caloric intake, skipping meals, which is the true diagnosis, anorexic nervosa, and bulimia. It causes hypothalamic dysfunction with normal menstrual cycle, which then can lead to amenorrhea, which is the second part of the triad. Which amenorrhea is defined as the absence of at least 3 consecutive menstrual cycles in a woman who has begun menstruating. It affects 3 to 66% of female athletes depending on the sport, compared to 2 to 5% in the general population. Prolonged amenorrhea can lead to decreased levels of estrogen, which affect adequate bone growth. The increase of bone loss and inadequate bone formation leads to osteopenia and premature osteoporosis, which leads us to osteoporosis, which is the third part of the female athlete triad. Osteoporosis is increased bone fragility and risk of fractures. It's becoming more rapid and possibly not reversible because before the age of 20, the obtained peak bone mass is only 60 to 70%. It is recommended to screen during pre-participation physical exams, yet many schools don't use forms that are specific for females. The purpose of this study is to see the effectiveness of the pre-participation history and physical forms in high school athletic programs to screen and look for the components of the triad, and if the schools have educational programs. Some of the methods. The Female Athlete Triad Survey, developed by Dr. Catherine Beals, was mailed out to 34 different high schools that supported 3 or more varsity girls' sports. The survey has 17 open and closed-ended questions, which is then validated by a panel of 5 experts in triad disorders. Some of the limitations of this study were, I believe there's about 74 of the questionnaires that went out to schools, and only about 34 did come back, so there was a big difference in that. Another one was that a lot of the questions that did get answered got changed a little bit so that they were more formed so that you would get the question out that you wanted to. They kind of changed it up a little there, where they didn't ask the specifics behind it. So here's an example of the actual survey. Here's just mostly all closed-ended questions, either yes or no. Just, you can see by here all the different questions that they ask. Just getting like a very detailed response about their bodies. Some of the results of the study, I apologize, there were 76 mailed out and only 34 returned. With that being said, 97 were completed by the athletic director. Only 33% of the schools that did screen for menstrual history only used 1 or 2 basic questions. For example, is your period regular, or have you ever skipped a period? 22% scanned for disordered eating. 32% restricted players from actually playing the sports if they did show signs. And 33% had education, but most didn't require attendance. So as you can see by the chart here, The top chart shows educational programs for athletes. The bottom is the education programs for coaches. So you can tell overall most don't have education whatsoever. There's a huge decrease in that. But as you can see, when there is education available, only very few are required and most are optional. Is for both for each student and athlete. So just relating it back to actually physical therapy, I think we should be scanning more for this pathology. I think it is important. We are with these girls very often. We should feel comfortable enough to ask these questions to the athletes about their period, their eating, and so on. And I think we'll be able, I think we should feel comfortable enough to assess the signs of the triad. Another thing, if we do have all of this information, I believe that we should be going out into the community and helping educate, whether it be the students, coaches, parents, anyone, just making sure that this pathology does get out there and that people do know about it and how to help with it. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to let me know, and here are my references at the end. Thank you so much.